said, I come from a land of love.
Hey everyone, welcome back. And if you're new to my channel, welcome to Girl in the Garage. My name's Lisa. So today I'm doing the Let's Resin Parrot crystal ball mold. And because I live here in Australia, we have beautiful king parrots where I live. And the males are red-green with little bits of teal on their feathers and a nice sort of dark, deep blue on their tail feathers. So I've already painted my mould. I just brushed on some chrome powders. So I've got the Mateo chrome powders, and they come in a 10-pack. And basically I used every colour except the silver colours, which is, there's 2 types of silver in that pack. And I brushed my Micas on. I half poured it with white, and then, because the male king parrot has a red chest, I made up some red UV and did about 3 layers on different angles, and then I finished off with his tail blue. So hopefully you can see that inside. I've also painted my branches and my flowers. So this mould holds 15.3 fluid ounces. Me being having bad eyesight, I made up 10, and I probably should have made up about 13. So I probably won't have enough, but that's okay. So Teexpert kindly reached out to me and asked me if I want to try their deep pour. And I love their one-to-one, so I said yes, I'd love to try their deep pour. And as I don't have any Let's Resin being one-to-one or a deep pour, so I've got this, so I can finally pour this mould. Now you can do it in stages if you don't have a deep pour. My only suggestion is each layer don't spray your isopropyl alcohol, because you'll get those lines, whether it's tacky in between each layer or if it's cured. But if you go spritzing with alcohol, that's what gives you the line. A lot of people will say because it's tacky, or it's cured, and you pour another layer, that's why you get a line. Well, that's not correct, because I've done it both ways. And if I use isopropyl alcohol in between my layers, then I get lines. So don't use alcohol if you're going to do it layered, if you haven't got a deep pour. So this is a 2-to-1 by volume. You've got a working time of 60 to 80 minutes, a demold time of 24 hours, and a cure time of 48 to 72 hours. So I've currently got my resin mixing there in my RESINERS dual mixer, and the pour max depth is 4 inches per layer. So we're going to give that a go today. This is quite reasonably priced too. Teexpert, I love it. It's about 1/3 of the price of Let's Resin, by the way. So I'm going to grab my resin. Hopefully I've got enough. We're going to put a little bit of gold dust in, and we're also going to put something special in our crystal ball. So I'll come back in a sec. So I've just scraped my sides, excuse me, and my bottom on my cup. And I do want a little bit of sparkle. So I've got my micro spoon, and I'm just going to do half micro spoon. Hopefully you can see that, because this stuff will overpower, and it's easy to use too much of it. It's like your diamond dust, except it's gold. And when you're using it, you should wear a mask, because it's like little metal shards, so you don't want to be breathing that in. So I'm going to stir this in. Now I want to put this through its paces, seeing the Deep Pour resin, because I have used other brands of Deep Pour. Not every brand, but when I first started resin 6 to 7 years ago now, I started with deep pour because I didn't have a vacuum chamber or a debubbler. And the resin I was using was actually a 3-to-1, and it's really hard to get, and the price of it has just tripled. And it was like one of the cheapest on the markets when I first started, but it was brilliant for degassing. It was always crystal clear after you mixed it. I can see some bubbles in this, so I am going to actually put it through my vacuum chamber. Really, with deep pour, you shouldn't have to put it through your vacuum chamber or debubbler. But this one's looking quite bubbly from stirring, so I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to come back. Okay, so my resin's looking a lot clearer, so I'm happy with that. So if you are new to resin and you're just starting out, using a deep pour is going to give you more working time than a 1-to-1. So if you're a bit nervous about, mixing up your colours or whatnot and just having that extra time, worried about bubbles, then yeah, start off with a deep pour for sure. Because that's what I did. And you do have to have patience because your piece is going to take a little bit longer to cure. You can cut that time down a little bit in your RESINERS curing machine, which done with a deep pour, but it still takes time. So don't think it's going to cut the time down heaps, because it really doesn't. But it will knock off a couple of hours. So what are we going to put in our crystal ball? Well, just want to see the position. Okay, so this is going to be the front. So I've got these beautiful orchids growing in my garden. My husband bought me this orchid plant, I think 2 years ago. Anyway, it's flowering beautifully. So I picked one and I dried it with some silica gel crystals. And this is what it looks like now. Now, it's that delicate. When I was cleaning the silica gel crystals off it, I actually snapped one of the petals. So I've UV'd that back. I've also UV'd around the leaves, so hopefully they don't fall off because it's so delicate, but it is fully dry. And then I've threaded it with fishing line because apparently, not that I've tried it, but apparently it goes invisible in resin. That's a fishing line. So hopefully. So now the trick is to get it in here without breaking it. I think I can do that. So I'm not going to douse it in resin first because it's too delicate. And I'm not spraying with alcohol just in case I've got to make up more resin, because I don't want to risk lines in my layers. Now see if I can get this petal in without breaking it. So good. Just hold the stem. Hopefully it's going to fit in here. It should just spring back. Oh, I think I've sort of broken it a little bit, but it's the petal. Now, can we get it in the middle more? That's going to be the trick. So we want it to look suspended in there, don't we? Don't know if it's going to want to do that. Try to turn it around a little bit. Okay, I think that is pretty much where I want it. Now the trick is to get it to stay where I want it, which is going to be the hard part. not playing the game. Be easier with that gloves on too, I think. Okay. Ah, you would move, little hooah. Stay there. Okay, let me find some. Oh, look, I thought I was organised. Gosh. I have to put my stick tape. Oh my gosh. Here it is. So yeah, I've had this mould for ages now. And I was going to do it in Let's Resin 1:1 epoxy because that's what I had, but I ran out. And then they were sending me more, and then I finally got it, but I ran out again. And I didn't know, I don't have any deep pour, so I haven't tried the Let's Resin deep pour yet. But I do find it's sort of a bit out of my budget because it is, as I said, a lot dearer than other resins. And just because the other resins are cheap doesn't mean that they're not good resins. I think I've snapped one of my petals off. Gosh, thought that would happen. Now, I'm using a tool. Let's try to turn this a bit, or the petals a bit, without dislodging my powder that I've already got in. That's probably as good as I'm going to get it, I think. It may rise up a bit once we get some resin in there. I might just put a bit more tape. Probably pick some better tape. I also, this is a really hard mould to paint, I'm not going to lie. So it took me a long time to paint. That's why I did it off camera. And then you clean up and everything else. So it is quite time consuming. And it's a lot of resin too. But it should be pretty. But yeah, I love drying the flowers in the silica gel crystals. Okay. And I haven't tried the Let's Resin chrome powders yet. I'm still waiting for mine to be sent to me. So hopefully they come soon because I have used the Mateo chrome powders and I'm not a huge fan, especially for the price they are. They do have some pretty colours, but we'll see. We'll see what this parrot turns out like. So I'm basically just going to pour slowly down the side. Just let it fill up and run wherever it wants to run because it's a deep pour, so the bubbles should release. Just hoping my flower doesn't shrivel up or crack or go all manky. It'd be nice if I've got enough resin too. If not, I'll have to just make up some more, as I said. But hopefully I got the position of this flower good. But yeah, it was hard to see how much. I thought it said 13.3 fluid ounces, but it's actually 15. And I'm not sure how much I used when I did the parrot. So I did 7 ounces of A and 3.5 of the B. But yeah, I don't think I'll have enough, but it'll be close. Now I will have to babysit this for a while because I can see my flower is starting to float. I'm going to have to find something else to hold it down. There's lots of bubbles coming up. I want to be able to give it a spritz with my alcohol once it's fully filled up. But I didn't want to do that now just in case risking having to do another layer and not having enough. So yeah, we are short, which after I read properly how much it held, thought, I know, that's okay, we can just make up some more. I just wanted to let you guys know too that I do have channel membership available, and there's lots of perks and perks to my channel membership. It's different levels with different pricing, and it's still cheaper than a cup of coffee. So check it out if you want a way to help support my channel. That'd be awesome. If not, you can always subscribe. That helps too if you haven't already. Okay, so I'm going to make up some more resin and do a little bit more fiddling with my flower to try and get it positioned right without breaking it. So I'll come back when I've made up some more resin. Okay, so I have made up 4.5 ounces, so 3 ounces of A and 1.5 B. Popped it in the vacuum chamber, so hopefully I've got enough now. So again, just pouring it in nice and slow. Sure, this is going to lift my orchid a bit more, but that's okay as long as it doesn't pop all the way out. Seen a few little bubbles rise. So hopefully we won't see it. Well, we're not going to see our fishing line because it's not going to be in the resin. I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm just going to let it settle for a bit. So this is cured. Shall we see what we've got? Didn't quite fill it to the top, which I was going to do, but then I just didn't. Okay, I'm just going to spray some alcohol down just so we can break this seal. Okay, let's see if I can get it out. Try and roll it down on itself. Whoop. Gosh, it's a tight hold. Okay. Now it's coming. You ready? Oof. It's out. Let me just flip this back. Oh my goodness. Okay, ready. It's just, oh, I'll get a cloth. Just a shine up. Okay, here we go. Ooh, look at that. Love it. The chrome powders aren't too bad. But they might have been a bit brighter. Look at how orchid. Beautiful. It's not too bad. It's a shame that it's sort of flipped a bit, but still, that gold sparkle in it. And that's super clear. So that deep pour did a brilliant job. Thank you, Teexpert. Probably should have filled it a bit more, but anyway, not to mind. Now I still want to do a couple of little finishing touches on our Aussie king parrot. Do some eyes. Oh, it's gorgeous, love it. Okay, I'm going to pop it on the light. Get ready if you don't like bright lights. Let's see what it looks like lit up. Ooh, that pretty. What do you guys think? Oh, I love it. Let me know in the comments what you think. All right, I'm going to go and do a few things to it. Maybe highlight the flowers a bit more with an acrylic paint pen. But I'm loving that as a light. It's gorgeous. All right, turn this off and I'll see you up the other end of my table. So for reference again, this is the Australian male king parrot. So we definitely need to make this greener. So I thought I'd get out my acrylic paint, paint it on, wait for it to dry a bit, and then we'll take it off so that all the paint goes into the cracks. I've got out a couple of other colours to do the flowers and leaves, and we might do a bit of red on the head as well, just to highlight the feathers. I've also got to stick on some eyes. Now they've got yellow eyes with black pupil. So I've got my yellow eyes out. I also want to put some water, I thought, on the bottom. So this is just like a little pack that I got from Temu. They're actually stickers, but it's like plastic type stuff. So I just cut out a circle, stuck them together because they're stickers, and we're going to stick that in the bottom just for a bit of interest. So when you look down in it, I don't know if you can see that. It's hard to see, but just so it looks like it's sitting on water. because I just want to fill in that bit, because it's sort of, I should have filled it up with resin, but I didn't, so that's that. So let me get rid of this, pop that down there out of the road. So to start with, I've also got to get my Dremel out and get rid of that little bit of the stem. So I'm going to put my mask on. And get my Dremel. Whoops. So hopefully I've got this so you can see. Right, let's see how we go with this. So I think that's okay. Let's just clean that up. It sort of had like a bit of a ridge there, so I got rid of that. A slight little bubble there too. See if I can get rid of that without getting rid of too much of the dime. Might as well go all the way around. That's better. That's better. Knocking everything over. Now, just want to get rid of a bit of the diming on the eye, and hopefully without hitting anything else because it's quite small, these eyes. Okay, I think I did all that okay. Before we stick the eyes on, I think I should paint it. Okay, let's see if we've got rid of enough of that. Because we want this to sit flat. Just see if I can get rid of a bit more. Should be okay, we shouldn't really see it anyway. Oh, that sits better. Beautiful. Okay, so I might just stick that down with some glue, I think. So let's just make sure we've cleaned that really well. Oh, get rid of my mask. Okay, so I've got a good side and a bad side. I want the good side out. So that's the bad side. Let's just stick some glue on that. And I'm just using a 8000. Get that from Temu. So while that's drying, we'll get on with our other stuff. Make sure that's really stuck down. Okay, should be okay. Now, so we need to just paint this. So I'm just going to get my green paint. I think I'm going to use this one. So this is just the Amsterdam, the phthalo green. And I've got a paintbrush here somewhere. And we're just going to paint it on. So you just basically want to highlight all the feathers. I've got a random little hair. Get rid of that. So I just want to make sure it gets in all the little cracks. Because that green that I used from the Mica collection, it's not as green as what I wanted, but anyway, mind. Try not to get it on the sphere. It'll come off anyway. I'll just use some acetone. So we don't have to be too precious about this. Just slap it on. just want to make sure it gets in all those little grooves basically. Now it's looking more like male king parrot in that colour. So I think it's because I backed it in red. Actually, I backed it in white first and then I backed it in red. So maybe that's why it's the colour hasn't come out the way I expected it. I'm not sure. We just want to make sure it gets in all those little cracks. Might even start taking it off, or see if I can start taking it off before it dries. That way it just won't take as long. Okay, I think we've got it all in all those little cracks and crevices, which are the definition of the feathers. Okay. I'm trying to get it sort of even. Oh, I'm liking that. Might even leave that on. What do you reckon? She might be the go. I think I might even leave that on. What do you guys reckon? Leave it on? It's definitely looking more the way it should. Yeah, I think I might leave it on. Yep, I'm going to leave it on. So, if that's the case, then I might not do what I was going to do to the red. I don't know, because I don't have a red the same as that. And I like that red. Alright, I'm going to leave that on and wait for that to dry, and then I'm just going to go back over those other little colours because I've got a colour similar to that. Oh, this brush is hopeless. It's fallen apart on me. God. Okay, leave that. What's that one? Which is a Montmartre. Oh, this is phthalo green as well. But it's a metallic. So I'll just highlight those little lighter bits. It might be a change plan, I think. Let's have a look at this colour. Is it this one? I think it's this one. Whoop. Yep, definitely that one. Use this brush. I'm not going to use that brush because it's too stiff. Let's put another one. Yep, that's better. I'll have to go over that twice when it dries. Making a bit of a mess. It's better. Alright, I'm going to let that dry and then come back and yeah, I don't even know if I want to highlight any more of that. I think I'm going to leave it like that and just do our eyes and our bottom. Alright, I'll come back when it's dried. Back again, and guess what? My paint's dry. I think it turned out good. But look what I did. I took it off. I wasn't happy with it. And for some reason, I went round and round with the glue. And then when you look down into it, you could see like a snail mark from where I went round and round with the glue. And it's probably nice that you can actually see in through the bottom of it, I think. So I think I'm just going to do a clear coat of UV. But before I do that, I'm going to stick the eyes on. So I've got out my glue again. And I think I'm going to go this size. Or do I do the next size up? Let's have a look. Oh, yep, that's definitely that size. I think the other ones would be way too small. And I reckon these look more real than drawing them on. So now it's flattened off. Yeah, that looks good. They are sticky, like stickers, but I always glued them on because I worry about them falling off, and generally I UV them on. Yeah, I think even though the eyes look small, I reckon the other ones would be way too small. Yeah, that looks good. Oh, look at that on the bristle stuck there. God. Love it. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. So I'll just pop some UV on that, and then I think it's done. So thank you so much, Let's Resin, for sending me this gorgeous mould. And thank you, Teexpert, for sending me the Deep Pour Resin to try. It turned out gorgeous. So stay tuned for the photos, everyone. And thanks heaps for watching. And I'll see you soon for the next one. Bye.